From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, February the 12th, 2020. Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert and Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas did, in fact, hold a joint press conference at UN headquarters in New York City yesterday, several hours after Abbas addressed the UN Security Council, where he completely rejected the U.S. peace plan. Abbas told reporters and Olmert that he would love to resume the peace talks with Israel, where we left it with you, Mr. Olmert, under the umbrella of the International Quartet, and not on the basis of the plan of annexation, legalizing settlements, and destroying, he said, the two-state solution. Olmert told reporters that Abbas was a man of peace, opposed to terror, and was a partner for peace talks. Olmert said he didn't come to the U.S. to criticize President Trump or his peace plan, mentioning that the plan does have some positives in that it does, he said, make a commitment for a two-state solution, which Olmert said he hoped the Palestinians do not ignore. But Olmert said peace could only come from direct negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the Olmert-Abbas meeting a low point in Israeli history, shameful and disgraceful. He told Israel's Channel 20 last night, "After I worked for 3 years with President Trump to produce the deal of the century, a former prime minister goes to Abu Mazen," referring to Abbas, "in order to fight against it. It's unbelievable." Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, who spoke there yesterday after Abbas, condemning the Palestinian leader's total rejection of the U.S. plan, tweeted that on the same day that Abu Mazen failed in his attempt to condemn the U.S. and Israel in the Security Council here at the UN, Mr. Olmert is endorsing Abu Mazen. He is endorsing diplomatic terrorism against Israel. It is shameful. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Kelly Craft, also addressed the Security Council yesterday, responding to Abbas's rejection. She said, "If you choose the path to peace, America and many other countries we will be there." Craft called on Abbas to compromise and referred to the conceptual map presented with the peace plan, which she said represents a historic step toward the establishment of a Palestinian state with a capital in East Jerusalem. She stressed that the plan is an opening offer. It is the beginning of a conversation, not the end of one. And staying with the UN, its Human Rights Council published a database today of 112 companies conducting business over the Green Line, meaning in East Jerusalem, the Golan Heights, and the West Bank, saying the activities of these businesses, most of whom are Israeli, quote, raised particular human rights concerns, unquote. The Palestinians called the publication of the so-called Blacklist a victory. Prime Minister Netanyahu vowed to fight it, he said, with all our strength. Israel's Foreign Minister Israel Katz called the publication of the list a shameful surrender to the pressures of countries and organizations that he says want to harm Israel. Israel's President Reuven Rivlin said boycotting Israeli companies does not advance the cause of peace and does not build confidence between the sides. He called it a shameful initiative, which reminds of dark periods in our history. The American Jewish Committee tweeted that the UN has not created blacklists targeting companies active in disputed territories anywhere in the world except those held by Israel. The body's hypocrisy and double standards, they wrote, toward the Jewish state are staggering. And the leaders of the Conference of Presidents of major American Jewish organizations, Arthur Stark and Malcolm Hoenlein, said this is an unnecessary provocation that is particularly counterproductive given its release at a time when renewed efforts are being made to build bridges between Israel and the Palestinians. They said the UN Human Rights Council, which requested that this report be produced, has once again demonstrated its blatant anti-Israel bias and has reaffirmed its role as an accomplice to the BDS movement, referring there to the boycott, divestment, and sanctions campaign against Israel. We urge the rejection of this defamatory report during the UNHRC's next session later this month. Well, a crowdfunding campaign spearheaded by an Orthodox Jewish community in Brooklyn raised almost $50,000 for the family of the police officer killed in the Jersey City attacks this past December. Detective Joseph Seals was shot and killed by two shooters just before they attacked a kosher supermarket in the city that left 3 people dead. A $47,000 check was presented last night to the president of the Jersey City Policemen's Benevolent Association, Carmine Disbrow, on behalf of Seals' widow and 5 children. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, February the 12th at 7 o'clock. It's from the Aleph Bet. At 7:35, a meeting of a Jew, a Sunni, and a Shiite with Rabbi Eli Abadi, Imam Mohammed Tawhidi, and Ali Adi, who discuss Muslim-Christian-Jewish relations as well as Israel and BDS. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with former chairman and CEO of Universal Music Publishing, David Renzer. At 10, we hear from author Myron Sugarman about the Jewish mafia in the 1930s. And coming up right after this newscast, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, February the 12th, 2020. I'm Teisha Bader.